Our resident commentator on the passing scene is award-winning author Harlan Ellison. When we call him award-winning, that's an understatement. Harlan has won more awards for his 62 books, more than 1,700 stories, articles, essays, and columns than any other living fantasist. His current books are Minefields, Mephisto and Onyx, and I, Robot Screenplay, based on concepts by Isaac Asimov.
Oh, all right, you caught me. Yes, this is one of the secret vaults here in the house. Yes, and you know what's in this secret vault? I'm going to show you what's in this secret vault. In this secret vault, part of my comic collection. Yes, folks, I've been collecting comics since 1939. Look at this. Look at this. Thousands of old comics. Ha ha ha. This is just part of the Marvel stuff. And do you know why I've been collecting comics? Because I love comics. And now, as a matter of fact, I have my own comic. Let me tell you about my own comic. This was not my idea. The producer said, let us do a show about your new comic. My new comic is called Harlan Ellison's Dream Corridor. Now, let me tell you how I came by this comic. About 4 years ago, Showtime, the cable network, came to me and they said, we want you to host a kind of a, show of fantasy stories. And you could do, you could do things like from Dangerous Visions, or you could do your own stories. So I said, that's kind of interesting. So I put together a thing called Harlan Ellison's Dream Corridor. So I put it together with an incredibly interesting framing device, I say with great humility, and we went and we talked about it. And they kind of beetled their brows and they scratched their heads like the little chimpanzees that they are. And they said, we don't understand what it is you're going to do with this framing device. We want you to do Rod Serling. And I said, no, you don't understand. I'm not Rod Serling. I have a very different kind of act entirely. So they gave it a pass. Now, about 2 months later, 3 months later, HBO comes to talk to me about the same thing. They had heard about this. So I go in and I show them the thing with the framing mechanism and blah, 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 blah. And they say, again, we don't understand. Why don't you have storyboards made up? I said, I got your storyboards right here. Anyhow, it was because storyboards cost a fortune to make. So I let that slide. Now, a little time goes by and I figure to myself, storyboards. There's got to be a way to have storyboards produced that not only don't cost me any money, but can make me some money. That's what I really wanted to do. And then I thought, epiphany, a comic book. A comic book, at its best, is like great storyboards. And if I can get people to adapt my stories and they look really great, then I'll just show it to these morons at the networks, and they'll go for it, and I'll have my own TV series, and then I can retire to Bora Bora and never have to worry about that moron Charles Platt ever again. Well, folks, the first issue is coming out in January. It's called Harlan Ellison's Dream Corridor. We begin with a special, and then we begin the numbering with number 1 in April. And the stories are unbelievable. The great Doug Wildey, who only recently passed away, he did his last work for my book. He adapted one of my westerns called The End of the Time of Leinard. We got Pat Broderick doing an adaptation of Len Wein doing my story, Quick Time. We've got John Byrne adapting I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream. Peter David, the great Peter David, who writes The Hulk. Peter David did my story Catman, which is being illustrated by Diodato. It is a great magazine, and in every issue, there'll be an original short story by me around the cover. This is the cover of the first issue. This is an original Stephen Hickman illustration. The second issue is an original Michael Whalen. The third issue is Leo and Diane Dillon. We got the best artists. We got the best writers. They're going to be real, how shall I put this delicately, real fundament-kicking books. And it's my own comic. I got my own comic. You understand what I'm saying here? I'm age 60 and I got my own comic. I am a success at last.